What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, Big Boy John 25. And tonight I'm going to do my NXT review and highlights so you guys know. Hit that like button, hit that red button. Let's get started. Now, NXT was a good show. NXT was a good show. That's all I got to say from here. So, anyway, we're live from the NXT arena at Full Sail University in Winter Park, Florida, as Mario Rolando welcomes us to the final live episode of the year. He joins by Nigel McGuinness and WWE Hall of Famer Beth Phoenix. NXT title match: Finn Balor versus Adam Cole. This match was good, but this match should have been main event for Finn Balor versus Adam Cole, but it didn't happen. But they kicked things over the NXT title match with Finn Balor versus Adam Cole. This match was good. All right, we go right to the ring, and out comes Finn Balor first. This previously announced as being a commercial-free match, but Mano knows that it will have limited commercial interruption. NXT champion Adam Cole is out next as Alicia Taylor does the introductions. Sorry about that. The bell rings and we get forum introductions from Taylor. Fans do dueling chants as they lock up and trade holds. Balor takes Cole down first and they tangle some more on the mat. Balor with the uppercut again, keeping Cole grounded. Cole turns it around in their feet and beats Balor down to some boos. Cole with a forearm to the jaw. Balor comes back with a basement dropkick for a 2 count. Balor keeps Cole grounded by his arm now. They get up and Balor drops Cole into the corner. Balor keeps control and dropkicks Cole in the back of the neck while he's down. Balor with another close 2 count. Fans chant Balor as he work on Cole while he's down. Balor stumps away on Cole, sending him out for a breather. Balor with a dropkick through the ropes, now sending Cole into the burial. Balor goes for a big kick from the apron, but Cole super kicks the knee out. Balor goes down on the apron and Cole works him over, bringing it back in for a hangman's neck breaker. Cole mounts Balor strikes. Now Cole goes on and hits a snap suplex for another pin attempt. Cole stomps away in the corner now as the referee warns him. Cole plays to the crowd and for a mixed reaction. Cole takes Balor back down, drives a knee to the back and grounds him with a headlock now. Balor tries to fight up and out, but Cole takes him back down, talking trash as the referee checks on Balor. Balor gets up and hits a jawbreaker to the jawbreak free, but Balor charges, but Cole counters and takes the left knee out to the back control. Cole drops Balor with a right, then nails a forearm. Cole drops Balor again for another 2 count. Cole drives more knees into Balor's back and keeps him down with a head scissors on the mat. Cole keeps control and shows off some as Balor stumbles to the corner. Cole runs into boots. Balor mounts some offense now. Balor drops down on Cole for a 2 count. Balor with chops in the corner. Cole comes back and hits a neck breaker out of nowhere for a 2 count. More back and forth on their feet now. Cole with an enziguri, Balor with a sling blade. Balor runs into a big super kick on Cole and covers for a 2 count. They trade suplex attempts and then strikes in the middle of the ring. Cole with a big boot to the face and another shot. Balor comes right back with a Pele kick, but Cole falls on him for a close 2 count. They get up and stare each other down. Cole drops Balor with a kick. Balor blocks the Panama Sunrise. Cole counters the 1960, more back and forth, and big counters between the two. Balor drops Cole and goes to the top, but Cole knocks him off. Balor lands hard on the floor as the dueling chant starts back up. Cole goes for a sunrise from the apron, but Balor back drops him to the floor. Then hits a big running dropkick. Balor brings it back in and misses the coup de grace. Cole follows up with the last shot for another close 2 count. As the crowd goes wild and the NXT chant starts up, Cole can't believe it. Fans chant, "This is awesome now." Cole drops his knee pad and runs the ropes, but Balor nails a huge clothesline. Balor with a dropkick into the corner. Balor goes back to the top and nails a coup de grace. Balor grabs Cole for a 1916. But Johnny Gargano appears on the stage and everyone is distracted. Cole takes advantage of Balor being distracted, rocks him, and then delivers the last shot for the pin to retain. The winner of the match, and still your NXT champion, Adam Cole. This match was good, but here we go. This match was good. I ain't gonna lie. The winner of the match, and still your NXT champion, Adam Cole. After the match, Johnny Gargano slowly walked down to the ramp as Cole music hits. Cole exits the ring. Balor is down in the ring. Gargano brings a steel chair into the ring as fans chant, "Johnny Wrestling now." Balor looks up from the mat as Gargano stares him down. Chair in hand, Gargano unloads with chair shots now, beating Balor out of the ring. The chair shots continue until Balor retreats through the crowd. Johnny Gargano touched the steel part of the bottom of the ramp, which Balor drops him on when he turned heel several weeks back. Gargano tosses the chair and leaves. They show Rhea Ripley arriving earlier. We also see the NXT Horsewomen arrive earlier. Today, Rhea Ripley versus Shayna Baszler will take place later tonight. we get a video package on Killian, Dain, and Damien Priest and Pete Dunne. Damien Priest versus Killian, Dain. We go back to the ring and out comes first Damien Priest, who has recovered from the rib injury he suffered at TakeOver War Games at 2019, in a triple threat with Keith Lee and winner Pete Dunne. Priest takes off his jacket and we see that his ribs are taped with the cancel tape. The music hits and out comes Killian, Dain. The bell rings and they start brawling. Dan takes it into the corner as the referee counts. Priest fights out of the corner and unloads with rights. Priest turns it back around in the corner and continues beating on Dan. Dan rocks Priest and nails the ribs. Dan sends Priest out, but he fights back in. Dan hits the dive low crossbody and then works on the injured ribs while Priest is down. They trade shots in the middle of the ring now. Dan catches Priest in a bear hug. Dan with a big splash in the corner. Dan lays Priest over the middle rope and the corner. Dan runs a dropkick the ribs. Runs again with a baseball slide dropkick, knocking Priest out of the ring. Dan takes the cancel tape off Priest's body and focuses on the ribs. Dan with a bicycle kick now. Dan brings it back into the ring and covers for a 2 count. Dan keeps Priest grounded in the middle of the ring now. Dan with a big backdrop for mixed reactions. Dan stands on Priest and rocks him while he's down. Dan grounds Priest and the referee checks on him. Sorry about that. Priest fights up with kicks. Priest goes for a suplex but can't hit it. Dan drops Priest's ribs over his knee. Dan pounds on Priest's ribs some more. Dan with a senton. Dan keeps Priest down and hits another senton on the middle of the ring for a close 2 count. Dan with a fisherman suplex for another pin attempt. Priest fights out, but Dan drops him. Priest rolls to the floor for a breather as we finally take a commercial break. Sorry about that. Back from the break, and Priest is mounting offense in the ring. Priest with a big leaping back elbow. Priest keeps control, levels Dan for a pop. Priest with another leaping back elbow in the corner. Priest goes for a suplex but can't get Dan up. He tries again but can't do it. Priest powers up and this time he hits the suplex for a pop. Fans chant Priest now. Priest goes to the top but Dan rolls out of the ring to boos. Priest runs and leaps over the top rope, taking Dan down on the floor. Priest brings it back into the ring for South of Heaven, but Dan still kicks out at 2. More back and forth between the two. Dan counters a finisher and dodges a splash. Dan turns it around and goes to a powerbomb. Priest then drops an elbow for a close 2 count. Dan shows some frustrations now. Dan charges into the corner with a big splash. Dan with a electric chair. Now, but Priest turns it into a victory roll for a 2 count. Priest comes back and rocks Dan again. Dan drops Priest again and nails another senton. Dan goes for a Vader bomb, but Priest gets his knees up. Priest comes back with the reckoning for the pin to win. The winner of the match, Damien Priest. After the match, Damien Priest stands tall as his music hits. We go to replay. The announcers plugs the year-end awards 2019. We see Kushida and Cameron Grimes backstage warming up. Back to commercial. Back from the break, and Mauro says detail on the 2020 Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic will be revealed on January 1st. Cameron Grimes versus Kushida. This match was decent. We go back to the ring, and out comes first Cameron Grimes. Kushida is out next, and he taunts Grimes. The bell rings, and they go at it, trading holds. Kushida gets the most offense early on as they unload. Kushida with a submission now. Cameron Grimes with a kick. Kushida with a big drop kick now. More back and forth. Kushida with a rolling curve flick on the mat for a 2 count. We go to commercial. Back from the break, and Cameron Grimes is in control on the mat. Cameron Grimes stands on Kushida in the corner now. Grimes keeps control and works Kushida over while he's on the mat. Grimes with knees to the back on the mat now. Fans try to rally for Kushida, but Grimes focuses on his back and keeps control. Grimes with a backbreaker holding it over his knee. Kushida unloads and breaks free. Grimes grabs him, but Kushida fights free and hits the handspring back elbow. Kushida to Miles' offense now as fans cheer him on. Kushida with more offense for a 2 count. Kushida goes right into a cross arm breaker on the mat. Grimes tries to fight free and gets his foot on the bottom rope to break it. Kushida charges with a drop kick to an arm, softening it up for his finisher. Grimes counter and moves in midair and drops Kushida for a 2 count. More back and forth now. Kushida with a German. They trade big strikes. Grimes tries for a German, but Kushida hangs on. Grimes overpowers and hits the German for another close 2 count. More back and forth now. Kushida goes to the top and leaps to the floor with a senton on Grimes, but he lands hard and they both stands down while the referee counts. Grimes is rolled back in. Kushida follows but runs into a boot in the corner. Kushida climbs up with Grimes in the corner. Grimes fights him off to the mat. Kushida comes flying in the corner with a kick. Kushida climbs back up and launches Grimes to the mat with a neat powerbomb pin for a close 2 count. Kushida can't believe it. They trade more big strikes now. Kushida dodges the cave-in. They tangle for just a second as Grimes blocks the hoverboard submission and then hits a big caves-in stumps for the pin to win. The winner of the match, Cameron Grimes. After the match, the music hits as Grimes rolls to the floor to recover. We go to replays. Cameron Grimes put his hat back on and heads to the back. We see Rhea Ripley in the back warming up. Phoenix leads us to a video package on Io Shirai. She will be in action next. Back to commercial. Back from the break, we get a tail of the tape. Graphics for the main event. Io Shirai versus Santana Garrett. This match was decent as well. We go to the ring and out comes Io Shirai. Santana Garrett is out next. The bell, back and forth to start. Garrett with a early 2 count. Garrett controls Shirai by the arm now as they tangle some more. Garrett with a head scissors takedown before a stalemate. Shirai charge, but miss and Garrett kicks her while she's down. More back and forth between the two. Shirai plants Garrett with a big flapjack in the middle of the ring. Shirai kicks Garrett into the corner, now rocking her while she's down. Shirai charges with double knees but misses and hits the turnbuckle. Garrett looks to mount more offense now. Garrett with the SOS for a 2 count. Garrett with more offense in the back elbow, handspring into the corner. Garrett goes for another close 2 count. Garrett bridges into a big submission to the neck now. Shirai tries to crawl for the rope, but she barely moving. The hold is finally broken. Garrett charges, but Shirai drops her into the ropes. Shirai has Garrett down in the knees now. Shirai runs in the middle, runs with the double knees to face. Shirai goes to the top and hits a moonsault for the pin to win. The winner of the match is Shirai. After the match, Shirai stands tall as her music hits. Some fans chant Shirai's name as we go to replay. The announcers leads us to a World Collide promo. Travis Banks versus Pete Dunne. We go to the ring and out comes versus Pete Dunne. NXT UK superstar Travis Banks is out next. Mauro recalls Banks' win over Jason Riker from last week. The bell rings and they stare each other down as Nigel talks about the history between these two. They go at it. Dunne takes Banks down first and puts a boot to him. More back and forth in a 2 count from Dunne. Dunne takes Banks down, but Banks counters on the mat for a 2 count. They run the ropes. Banks knocks Dunne out with a kick. Banks with kicks against the ropes now. Dunne turns it around. A ton of quick slaps to the chest. Dunne with a double stomp on Banks. Finger then a shot to the head. Banks rolls to the floor for a breather. Dunne follows and slams Banks onto the edge of the apron. Banks falls back to the floor as we go to commercial. Back from the break, and Banks mounts some offense, sending Dunne. Fans chant for Banks. Banks runs the ropes and nails a suicide dive into the barrier. Banks goes back to the top and nails a missile drop kick in the ring. Banks with a big double stomp in the corner while Dunne is down. Banks with a close 2 count. More back and forth now. Dunne catches Banks in the midair of the corner, driving him into the mat for a close 2 count. Banks in from the apron now. They go to the top and tangle up high some more. Banks goes for the sunset powerbomb, but Dunne lands on his feet. Dunne with a big insecurity in the corner. Banks counters and biter in out of the corner. Banks misses slice of heaven as Dunne catches him in mid move. Dunne with a big stomp to the back of the head out of a submission. They tangle as Banks counters bitter and again. Banks comes back with a Kiwi crusher for another close 2 count. Dunne goes on and nails a powerbomb. Dunne ends up hitting a big super X-Flash from the top for a pop. Dunne with a kick and a bitter end for the pin to win. The winner of the match, Pete Dunne. After the match, Dunne stands tall as his music hits. We go to replay. We get a show of respect before Dunne exits the ring. The announcers plug the 2019 year-end awards. Kathy Kelly is backstage with Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai admits she was forced to get staples last week after that table bump from Mia Yim, but she brags about winning the match. Dakota Kai goes on and says she will continue to be the rest of the women's division until she becomes champion. We see Shayna Baszler backstage warming up for our main event. Back to commercial. Back from the break, the announcers reveal for next week's NXT Christmas episode. Lio Rush and Keith Lee versus Damien Priest and Tony Nese, plus an opening challenge from the NXT North American Champion Roderick Strong. NXT Women's Title Match: Rhea Ripley versus Shayna Baszler. This main event was fantastic. Rhea Ripley and Shayna Baszler went at it. This match was fantastic. But let me read what happened in this main event match. Here we go. We go to the ring for tonight's main event as the challenger comes out first, Rhea Ripley. We cut backstage and see the NXT Women's Champion Shayna Baszler walking with Marina Shafir and Jasmine Duke. They stop backstage and embrace Baszler, then heads to the ring. We get formal ring introductions from Taylor. Sorry about that. Back and forth to start the match as they get a feel for each other. They break and lock up again. Baszler with a shot, but Ripley responds with a big kick out of nowhere, sending Baszler to the mat. Ripley whips Baszler into the opposite corner and she goes down hard. Baszler goes to the floor to regroup, holding her chest as we go back to commercial. Back from the break and they going at it in the ring. Baszler gets the uppercut, but the strikes keeps coming. Ripley with a big drop kick for a pop. Fans chant Mamma Mia as they go at it in the corner. Ripley takes Baszler to the top for a superplex. Sorry about that. Baszler resists, but Ripley nails the superplex for a close 2 count. They trade more strikes on their feet now. Ripley ducks a kick and nails a German suplex. Ripley yells out as fans pop. Shafar and Duke come down, but Ripley drops them at ringside. Ripley follows and trips Baszler on the apron as she comes out. Baszler also falls to the floor near her partners. Rhea Ripley goes to the apron as fans chant her name. Ripley runs and hits a cannonball on Duke and Shafir. As Baszler moves, Baszler follows up with a knee to Ripley's jaw. Baszler tries to break Ripley's arm now with a stomp to the top for the steel steps. The referee goes out and checks on Ripley as fans boo the champ. Baszler brings it back in the ring and manhandles Ripley, keeping her down. Baszler sends Ripley back out of the ring as we go to commercial. Back from the break, and Baszler has Ripley down in the middle of the ring, still focusing on her lips and keeping control. We saw how ringside doctor check on Ripley during the match and determined she could continue with her arm, possibly being out, possibly bleeding hurt. Sorry about that. Baszler with a big kick now. Baszler with more kicks while Ripley is on her knees. Ripley mounts some offense now. Baszler blocks the riptide, but Ripley drop kicks her into the referee. The referee goes down in the corner. Ripley nails the riptide and covers for the pin, but the referee is down. Fans count well past 3. Ripley tries to wake the referee as Baszler goes to the outside. Ripley goes for a cannonball off the apron, but Baszler moves and she lands hard. Ripley fights out for a Kushida clutch on the outside, sending Baszler into the ring post. Baszler grabs a steel chair and slides it into the ring. Baszler ends up driving Ripley down into the chair and covering as the referee wakes up. Ripley kicks out at 2. Baszler goes back to the Kushida clutch, but Ripley fights her. Baszler applies the hold again, and this time locks it in on the mat. They roll around on the mat, but Baszler keeps the hold applied. Ripley finally starts to fade as the referee checks on her. Baszler has had the Kushida clutch applied for several minutes now. Ripley is about to go down for good. She keeps her arm up and the crowd pops. Fans chant for Ripley as she rolls out of the hole. Ripley stomps away now. Ripley applies the prim submission now as the crowd goes wild for Rhea Ripley. Baszler kicks Ripley into the corner after breaking it. Baszler with a big knee to the corner. Baszler takes Ripley to the top and chops her. Baszler climbs up as fans chant Rhea's name. Baszler wastes some time, and Ripley comes to. Ripley within super riptide from the top for the pin to win the title. The winner and new NXT Women's Champion Rhea Ripley. After the match, Ripley stands tall with the title as the crowd goes wild. Ripley raises the belt, and we go to replays as the music hits. We come back to the ring filled of fans. Ripley is being raised in the air by fans as the celebration continues. NXT goes off the air with Ripley posing in the corner while the ring is filled with fans. I'm so proud of Rhea Ripley won the NXT champion, and that's all I gotta say. NXT was a good show. It was a good show, but the way that Rhea Ripley look at the referee and grab the referee, saying that you ain't finna stop this match. This is Rhea Ripley's moment. But I'm glad that, and I know TM sees this, and I know TM is watching this video. But TM, I know you agree with me. But the way that Rhea Ripley grabbed the referee, like, look, you ain't finna stop this match. This is Rhea Ripley's moment. That's the part I like. But I appreciate Rhea Ripley and Shayna Baszler put on a great main event on NXT. I appreciate that. And I seen that on Twitter when the fans rush in to celebrate Rhea Ripley. I see that on Twitter. But anyway, if you guys enjoy my NXT review and highlights, drop a like on this video. Comment down below what you guys think of this video. Share the video all over social media. My Twitter and Instagram will be linked in the description down below. So that's all I gotta say from there. But this your boy B-Boy John 25, and I will see you guys tomorrow on my AEW Dynamite review and highlights. B-Boy John 25. Talk to you guys later, and I'm out of here.